Welcome to Baseball Card Illustrated, the channel where we discuss our national pastime and it's illustrated with baseball cards. I'm Bronco, the PSA 11.
And I had no name on front, but they finally fixed it. I'm Kevin, the Diamond King.
Were you big hurt at the time, or you just didn't even know who you were?
Yeah,
Just confused?
Hurt is just my life motto, I think. I've just lived my whole life hurt.
And this is Through the Mail Thursday, where we send out baseball cards to some of our favorite cardboard heroes in hopes of getting them back signed. And this week we did pretty well. We got five cards back, led off with a relief pitcher.
1990 score.
Got a lot of those. We're doing pretty well as we try to put together as much of a autograph set as we can from that year.
Dan Schatzter signing in blue.
Did you see what he's got there in addition to the blue? We actually got two cards back. I sent one to a friend of the channel, Brendan Stebbins, so he's going to be getting that. But I kept the one with the XOXO. I have no idea if that's a thing he does or what was going on with that, but there was no way I could send that one out, right?
That's fantastic.
I had to keep that.
XOXO. It's half signed card, half love letter. Hey, I'm good with it. Why not?
Should we send him a note back like, thanks for the love and support, or whatever you got going on there, Shatsy?
That's fantastic. 14 years in the big leagues. Really 15 different seasons, 77 to 91. So you're catching.
So maybe those are Roman numerals. that adds up to 15 for those of you kids out there that haven't gotten to that in school yet.
That's fantastic. Yeah, at this point he's an Astro, and that is team number 8. 9 stints, but 2 with the Expos. So he went Expos, Tigers, Giants, back to the Expos, Phillies, Twins, Indians. Well, Twins again. I didn't see that. Then the Astros, and then finished up with the Mets and Royals. He did win a World Series.
You know what that motorcycle was going by? That was him getting traded again.
Yes,
he's on the move once again.
Yes, the Brewers need a lefty in the pen, so they're bringing him to Milwaukee.
So what team did you not notice that he was with there?
Well, I didn't.
Or twice?
He was with the Twins twice.
Speaking of the Twins, how's that for a segue?
Hey!
Kent Herbeck.
So, there's a separate episode of Through the Mail Thursday with a discussion about Sid Bream.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're an Atlanta fan, 1992 and Sid Bream sliding at home was one of the greatest things ever. So I suppose you're balancing out the joy of Atlanta fans by bringing up 1991, and it is the 91 score set, the black. And by the way, Kent Herbeck, thank you for signing in black with that black border.
Yeah, that looks pretty sharp. I know blue is like the thing that collectors generally prefer, but that looks really good with blue.
That's a good. And they're doing this unprompted, so that they really do appreciate it. But I don't appreciate what you did in the 1991 World Series. There is animosity toward this man in the Deep South.
Apparently, Kevin's coming clean on the fact that he's a Braves fan.
Was then, yeah. I grew up in Atlanta, and there's a famous play, at least famous there, where Kent Herbeck has a grasp on, I think it was Ron Gant's leg.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it was Ron Gant.
And he pulls his leg off the bag, and from that moment he was roundly hated in Atlanta circles. Now remember, this is before interleague play, so it never came to pass. It wasn't like now where if you have someone in another league, he might play in your park later, so it never came to pass. But before the series was over, my favorite sign by Game 5 of that World Series, a giant sign at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium that said, "Hey, Herbeck, buy a vowel."
I was actually cheering for the Braves in that series, so I can, maybe not to quite the same level, but I can share your pain on that. But I always did have appreciation for Kent Herbeck. You want to take a guess why?
Slugging first baseman.
Nope. Same birth date as me.
Seriously?
Different years, obviously, but
right.
we were born on the same day.
How about that?
So Kent Herbeck, that's a $5 signature, by the way.
And worth it, and obviously he's had a TV career. He's an outdoor show host now for Fox Sports North in Minnesota.
He's blessed. You know who else is blessed? ODB McDowell. I don't really know why, but I always kind of liked ODB McDowell.
Yeah. Here's the thing about ODB McDowell. He was, in his time, just this sort of spark plug kind of player,
Mm-hmm.
right? He could play center field, he could hit, he could get on base. He just, there was a little flash to him, but it wasn't over the top. It wasn't obnoxious, and I think that's the thing I liked about it. Plus, He was the subject of one of Chris Berman's absolute best nicknames, ODB Young Again McDowell. It's fantastic.
And I bet that's how he feels right now.
Member of the '84 Olympic team. And, by this point, 1988, he's made it in the big leagues. He came up right after the Olympics, played for the Rangers and then the Indians. He was a Brave briefly. Now, here's something you may not know about ODB McDowell. There was a 4-year break in his professional baseball career. He played in 1990 for, I lost it there, the Braves, and then again in 1994 for the Rangers. So there must have been a comeback.
Oh, there you go. He really was blessed.
He was blessed to have played in 2 different decades.
And he would have, trying to think if my math is right here, he would have played in 2 different ballparks for the Rangers then, right?
Yeah. It was 94. I think 94 might have been their first year.
I think it was. That's why I was pausing for a second to see if I had that right in my head. But and you mentioned the Braves, and that brings us to Tommy Green. And you said you have a good Tommy Green story.
Yeah, right before we started taping this, I told you that I had a really good Tommy Green story, and then I realized I had a senior moment. It was a Tommy Gregg story that I had. So I can tell you my Tommy Gregg story. I was going to
say, do we get? It's a great story. Maybe we'll send a card out to him sometime. But go ahead and give us a Tommy Gregg story.
So Tommy Gregg was.
Let me guess. There was some identification that was stolen. Or,
I can't believe that. I said I have a great story about him. Yeah, no, it was a different Tommy on that.
I guess because I have to hear it now because you said you really sold it.
Boy, selling this for a little payoff here. Tommy Gregg was a bench bat and a pretty good one for the Braves right around this time, 1990, and he was a believer in some, I would call them unorthodox tactics because I think a lot of people use them, but he was open about them. He was known for. He was a left-handed batter, and before he would go up to the plate, he would use visualization. He would close his eyes and picture himself getting the hit that he was trying to get in that at bat, and then he would step into the batter's box. And I thought that was cool, so I tried to do that a couple of times in backyard baseball. Doesn't work as well for me as it does for the professional.
You kept your eyes closed on your way up to the plate, and you're standing right on the dish, and got hit a couple times.
I could have, I probably could have swung with my eyes closed and come out better.
So can we wrap this up, and do we have anything on Tommy Green?
He was part of a no-hitter, if I'm not mistaken, for the Phillies. I think it was the next year, 1991, which was a big hit. 90 and 91 were big years for no-hitters. He threw one. That's where I remember it from, as a Philly throwing that no-hitter in front of a crowd in Olympic Stadium of 8,833 fans.
Ooh. Apparently it was not souvenir helmet night in Philly on that particular evening.
And he did start a World Series game, Game 4 of the 93 series. So there you go.
Now watch, he's probably tuned in and watching. He's like, they spend all this time talking about somebody else. I had a pretty good career myself here.
He's watching this thing going, don't talk about Tommy Gregg. I'm Tommy Green.
Do you think they ever got confused in the clubhouse as a result of that?
I mean, I did it just then on a whim, and that's years later. But yeah, there's no question that had to have happened, right?
So it's possible that some of the Braves or their fans were seeing double back in the day, and I only say that because it leads us into 2
wow.
for the price of 1. Jim Eisenreich.
That is, if there's a Segway award, you might have been bumped to a PSA 12 for that Segway right there. That's amazing.
Now that's out of everybody's price range. Let's see, $0 value, but it's a PSA 12. That's got to go for at least a quarter on the market.
So you've got a story attached to this because Jim Eisenreich has a very unique Major League story.
I was going to say, and I'll just point out that we did send him a few dollars toward his foundation, which is in support of Tourette's syndrome and trying to find ways to fight that.
He was actually, it was bad enough that he was on the voluntarily retired list between 1984 and 87. It was a long road for him to try to go through his treatment. Eisenreich has had during his career some incredible cross brushes with history. When the Twins figured out that Eisenreich was going to need some time to get together to get his treatment, they called up Kirby Puckett from the minor leagues. And then Eisenreich was later, years and years later, involved in a little trade between the Marlins and the Dodgers. Bobby Bonilla, Gary Sheffield, Charles Johnson, Todd Zeal, Mike Piazza, Jim Eisenreich. So
which of those names does not belong?
And Manuel Barrios, who also
There it is. That's the name that does not belong.
There's the name. Yep.
Well, I was going to say, can you pull up his stats there for a second?
Oh, sure.
I know there was a year, and it might have been 1990, where he had kind of gone through his issues and had been back in the league and had apparently taken that motorcycle to get back to Kansas City. And he had a really good year, and that's kind of when the story became really well known nationally.
He in '89 was the first year where he had a full slate of at bats for the Royals. So what you're seeing here, this photo, the year of the card is 1990, but the photo would be 1989. He had a little more than 500 at bats, 27 steals, 9 homers, almost hit 300. Like this,
Okay, yeah, that must be what I was thinking of.
He was a guy that was really doing something, and that carried over. 1990 was a good year too. But yeah, that was like you say, when you realize after all these years that he had overcome so much to make it. In his first year in Philadelphia, World Series with the Phillies, with Tommy Green, who is not Tommy Gregg.
And I guess that's our segue. So for Tommy G, there we can eliminate any confusion, right? We're seeing double with Jim Eisenreich. We're blessed with an appearance by ODB McDowell. Kent Herbeck is kind of on the edge of the screen there. And there's nothing but love by Schatzter. I'm Bronco, the PSA 12.
Yes, you got bumped up. And I'm Kevin, the Diamond King, at least until the next sprain.
So long, everybody. You've been watching the Baseball Card Illustrated channel.